The second question is on city status and comes from reader Jack Picknell of Chatham, who said of the city status bid, "I dislike the way that Strood, Rochester, Chatham, Gillingham and Rainham are slowly disappearing to become known simply as Medway. Rochester should regain its city status, not Medway, keep our town's identity. What is your group's position on city status and why you do or don't support the bid?" I'm going to start this time with Councillor Godwin.
Well, the Labour Group's position is that we are supportive in principle of the bid for city status, and this relates back to my previous answer to the earlier question. It is important that we establish Medway as an entity because of the need to have the sort of inward investment that will sustain Medway in the longer term. However, the way it's been handled by the current administration leaves a lot to be desired. People may be aware there was a recent incident where we started to rebrand items of the councils with the city status logo. That was reported to the Advertising Standards Authority, and they criticised the council and said that we shouldn't be doing that. Now the problem with that is, of course, it might well become counterproductive. It's the prerogative of the Queen to award city status anywhere, and clearly if somebody is seen to be in a position where they're already assuming that, then it's obviously something that might well go against us in the final decisions that have been made by Her Majesty. So I think we need to be doing it much more effectively. The other big issue is that we should not be spending a lot of money on this programme. We should be seeking to establish sponsorship which supports the funding bid. Now we know a lot of businesses are supportive, and therefore we hope that they would be contributing to the programme of trying to achieve city status.
Okay, thanks very much. Councillor Judy.
The view of the Medway Liberal Democrat group is that city status should be a long-term goal, but in these tough times we need to really be careful on what we spend the money on, and is it the right time to pursue this aim. The council's funding from central government has been cut drastically this year, and we also likely to continue to have cuts over the next few years as well. With limited funding, we have concerns whether this is the right way of spending money at the moment. We also have some concerns, like the reader who raised the question, about Medway really consists of 5 towns with a number of villages with very, very diverse separate identities. And why we have no objection to Rochester regaining city status, we don't necessarily want to change the town's name to get the city status.
Okay, thank you very much. And Councillor Chambers.
Well, city status bid is a golden opportunity, and you've got to remember that we submitted applications twice before to city status when Medway Council was very early in its life. But I think city status would be a fitting recognition for the people of Medway as to how they have handled and emerged from the dark days of the closure of the dockyard to become the successful place that Medway is. But as Councillor Godwin said a moment ago, we need to raise our profile because we will no longer receive public money for our regeneration. We must look towards inward investment. And one way of doing that is for us to take this opportunity to bid for city status, bearing in mind how the other areas that have gained city status in the last 10 years have benefited from an enormous amount of inward investment, such as places like Wolverhampton say that they received 2 billion more in investment by becoming a city. Brighton and Hove say that their tourism increased from something like 450 million to 750 million, and Sunderland attracted Nissan and companies like that, and they all say that it was because they were a city. And so this is, I think Councillor Godwin has used the argument we need to put Medway on the map, and this is one way of doing it.